Just wrapped up the NFL rumors section. Let's talk about some players who could be traded in the summer of 2018 right now. So let's talk Earl Thomas. He is the probably most likely player to be dealt among the headliners out there in the NFL this offseason, this preseason, however you want to put it. Adam Schefter recently reported that Thomas is preparing to sit out through training camp and perhaps into the regular season. And Thomas is coming off yet another Pro Bowl campaign. 5-time All-Pro at that. He's an elite safety in this league, and he's entering the final year of his 4-year, $40 million deal, set to make $8.5 million. And that's on par, roughly, with what Jimmy Ward of the San Francisco 49ers will make, and he's going to sit on the bench for San Francisco this year because he ain't starting, because they have Colbert at safety, they got Tart at safety as well, and they got Witherspoon and Sherman at cornerback. So is Thomas underpaid? Absolutely. Does he deserve security? Absolutely. So there are currently 4 safeties that will collect a larger base salary than Thomas in 2018. They are the following. LaMarcus Joyner, that's off the franchise tag. Eric Berry, coming off an injury. Malcolm Jenkins, and Jimmy Ward. Earl Thomas is 100% better than Jimmy Ward. You can make the argument he's better than Malcolm Jenkins and maybe better than Eric Berry coming off an injury-riddled campaign. Maybe even better than Joyner, although I am a big Joyner truther out there. I love his play on the football field. So that's the reality of the situation. Earl Thomas wants to get paid. He wants security, and if the Seahawks are unwilling to do that because they're going through this reset phase, if you will, then maybe they trade him. But not to the Dallas Cowboys. How about the Houston Texans? Harris, show me that trade package, my friend. Here we go. Seattle gets a 2019 second-round pick, and the Texans get Earl Thomas. So I'm not going chalk here, if you will, in terms of Thomas going to the Dallas Cowboys. The Texans lost Andre Hall. He was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, so he needs to focus on his health. They'll try Kareem Jackson at safety, but that could backfire easily. Jackson was not very good last year. He played at slot corner. So just imagine Earl Thomas and Tyrod Matthew as a safety tandem. That's elite, folks. And hey, by the way, the Texans can give back that second-round pick, right? Because the Seattle Seahawks can get back their second-round pick because Seattle traded it away to get Dwayne Brown in that deal last year. So who says no, Seattle or Houston? Type 1 for the Seahawks, type 2 for the Texans in the comments section. I think it's a pretty fair deal, but maybe people out there think the Dallas Cowboys trade is a little more likely out there. So with that, we'll ask you guys, should the Dallas Cowboys trade for Earl Thomas? Type DAL for Dallas, and yes. Type SEA for Seattle. No, the Seattle Seahawks should keep Earl Thomas. So let me know what you think about him. That is trade target number 1 on my list. So ET, going to Houston. How about this? Cameron Brate, tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Bucs have a, shall we say, top 3 tight end duo right now in the NFL with Brate and Howard. And yes, I understand the Bucs recently signed Brate to a 6-year deal, which perhaps doesn't exactly scream trade block, trade alert. And Brate has been pretty productive, has caught 66.5% of his passes thrown his way for over 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns over the past 2 years. But it's all about supply and demand, folks. And there are a couple teams out there desperate for tight ends, especially the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers, I think, are more desperate because they lost Hunter Henry due to an ACL. And as of now, their top tight end is Virgil Green, who just does not catch the football. And then you have a bunch of made-up names who I have never heard of. I'll be honest with you guys. I speak the facts. I speak the truth. I have no idea who those guys are after Virgil Green. So desperation time for the Chargers. So they make the trade. And because they feel like they're on the brink of being Super Bowl contenders, I could see this going down. So here we go. The Chargers engage with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a deal. The Chargers receive Cameron Brate and a 7th-round pick. Tampa Bay gets a 2019 second-round pick in particular. The 7th-round pick, I just threw that in there just for a little sprinkle. Doesn't really matter what the year is. But for Tampa Bay, they want that 2019 second rounder. Who says no to this? Type 1 for the Bucs, type 2 for the Chargers. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. Brate would be a great red zone target for Rivers, along with Mike Williams, who should emerge, you would think, being a high draft pick out of Clemson. He's supposed to be healthy this year as well. And I know the Chargers are looking into Antonio Gates, bringing him back. But wouldn't you rather just do this deal, especially when you feel like you're so close to being in the elite AFC conversation with the secondary that they have and the running back in Melvin Gordon? You're going to only have a few years left of Phillip Rivers. Get Cameron Brate, who, by the way, is on a 6-year contract. So it's not like, oh, he's going to walk into free agency next year or anything like that. No, you have some stability with Brate there at the tight end position. And if Hunter Henry doesn't fully recover from that ACL deal, because we see that a lot, players just don't ever fully recover from something like that, then you got Brate there to be your tight end number 1. So I think it's a good situation there for the Chargers. Tampa Bay, by the way, they still have O.J. Howard to be their top-line guy. All right, going through some trades here on the Cam Rogers Show. We are presented by AutoList. If you're looking for a new or used car out there and you are sick and tired of wasting your time browsing a million sites, go to Autolist.com to browse the largest source of inventory on the web, or download their top-rated mobile app for iPhone or Android today. Cam Rogers with you. Hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Rogers99. Be sure to spat off about whatever you think on this program. People are coming after me about my Tennessee Titans prediction to winning the AFC South, so if you want to chime in on that, be sure to do so. Talking about trades here, Teddy Bridgewater, could he be dealt? You guys know my feelings on him. He's either going to be the starter for the Jets or he's going to be traded. Now, according to reports, there's no real market right now for Bridgewater, but that doesn't mean there won't be one later on. The plan for the Jets is simple in regards to McCown and Sam Darnold. McCown is the stopgap, the bridge quarterback. Sam Darnold is the quarterback who will learn and learn and learn and then become the franchise quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is stuck in purgatory, and I don't think the Jets actually have a plan for this guy. And in a quarterback-driven league, maybe a team desperate for a viable starter makes a deal with the Jets, maybe even a team within their respective division. Now, usually doesn't happen, but it could happen. Taking a look at Teddy Bridgewater's stats here, the sample size is small. So in regards to Teddy, I think the jury is still out in what he can do in the NFL. So which takes me to my prediction here with this trade. I actually think the Miami Dolphins could make a deal for Teddy Bridgewater. And we'll show you guys this trade detail graphic here because Miami, I don't know if they have it with Ryan Tannehill. I just don't. You see, the jury is still out on Bridgewater. It ain't out on Ryan Tannehill. I don't think he's the franchise. So here's the deal. The Jets get a 2019 third-round pick, which I think is really good compensation for Teddy Bridgewater. So Miami gets Teddy. Who says no? Type 1 for Jets, type 2 for Miami. And when you compare the two quarterbacks, obviously Tannehill has been a starter in the NFL for a longer time. But we know who Ryan Tannehill is. He's a game manager. He is a guy that is just there, treads water. Teddy Bridgewater has a higher ceiling. And I'm not necessarily saying that when both of their careers end, Teddy Bridgewater will be the better quarterback. But what I'm saying is we just don't know. And I think Miami should make a move here and try to get him. Now, like I said, trading within a division is very, very rare. But the Jets may get a good package. So should the Jets trade Teddy Bridgewater? Type T in comments for trade. Type K for keep. Or, if you want, just type T for Trump and K for Kaepernick if you want to go back to the national anthem debate. But for the Jets here, they got a plan with McCown. They got a plan with Sam Darnold. Why not get compensation for that middle guy there in Teddy Bridgewater? Send him away. All right, let's talk about Dante Fowler now. he's had a run-in with a couple problems in his past. He'll be suspended for 1 game of the National Football League regular season this year, and he's now on the PUP list dealing with a shoulder injury, but it doesn't sound serious. Now, he has been arrested 3 times in a 17-month span. I know I'm not selling Dante Fowler very well right now, but he is in for a prove-it type of season. The team denied his option, his 5th-year option, the Jaguars did, which means there's uncertainty in terms of the future for Dante Fowler, and maybe the Jags aren't fully committed to him. So with that, I go to a team that needs pass rush help, the Detroit Lions, and they make a deal for Dante Fowler. Here it is. The Jacksonville Jaguars receive a 2019 second-round pick, and the Lions get Dante Fowler, who can play opposite of Ziggy Ansah. Fowler registered 8 sacks last year as a pass rush specialist. And if you look at the sack leaders last year for Detroit, it's Ziggy Ansah and everybody else. It's a bit of a drop-off. Got Zettel there at 6.5. Spence had 3. And Ansah, by the way, number 1, is on the franchise tag, so longevity is not guaranteed with him. And number 2, 6 of his sacks came through a 3-game span. So a bit deceiving there in terms of that stat line. So I like this deal. The Jaguars can reload in 2019 with a second-round selection, and the Lions finally get some pass rush ability. This team finished 20th in sacks last year. So for Detroit, a defensive-minded team right now with Matt Patricia as the head coach, maybe they make a move. Now, they are solid on the interior with Ashawn Robinson, Sylvester Williams, and the list goes on. But in terms of the exterior, the edge rushers in Detroit, not as good. So Detroit, with a solid secondary led by Darius Slay and Glover Quinn, bolster that front line to help that back end. So maybe Dante Fowler gets dealt this summer. All right, we got one more name to get to. I'll be very quick on this because I want to get on some NBA stuff as well. Jordan Howard. Now, this is total fantasy land. This is very unlikely to happen. But I'm talking about this because Jordan Howard was actually at the center of trade rumors back in March when the Bears and Dolphins engaged in negotiations that involved Howard and Jarvis Landry. So where does Howard go? How about San Francisco? The Bears get a 2019 second-round pick. They don't have one right now. And the 49ers get a battering ram running back in Jordan Howard to complement Jerick McKinnon, because the reality is I understand Matt Breida is in position to be the running back number 2 on this team, but do you want that if you're a 49ers fan? I don't know if I do. So now you have a 1-2 punch in Howard and McKinnon. And oh, by the way, we're talking about a 49ers team that has plenty of salary cap space to play with. So who says no? Type 1 for Bears, type 2 for 49ers. I expect to see a lot of ones here because people are probably like, no way Chicago trades Jordan Howard. Well, guess what, folks? He was part of trade rumors earlier this spring.